Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's check out Beat 'em Up Archives, part of the QUByte Classics series of games running on Nintendo Switch. Oh boy, QUByte Classics. This is pretty much a guarantee that this will have very poor emulation, very bad sound, few screen options, few control options, and be probably as quick and bare bones of an emulation port as you could possibly get. That's been QUByte's modus operandi so far. I hope that's not true here, but I have doubts. Normal, fit, stretch. Normal, fit, stretch. How about fit? Smooth, sharp, CRT, XBR. Right, you can't even preview what these are. I mean, you're just gonna have to guess. All right, what do we got here? We got something Commando, Ron Commando, Iron Commando, or Ron Commando. We got Legend. Looks like we have 16-bit versions. Do we have? This sort of implies that there's going to be like a different version. Platform is 16-bit, so that usually means Mega Drive when they don't specify the actual platform. So let's check this out. Iron Commando. Or it means Amiga. Why would the sound effects be default mono? Share lives is default on, huh? I can already tell by the way this game refreshes. We're in for Connect Player 2. Why would I need to collect for Player 2? It's a one-player game, right? One player. Start Commando. Okay, I guess that means if you want to switch to the second player. Oh yeah, this feels very Amiga-y. Alright, we got a punch button, we got a jump button. We have sound effects that don't really match. I don't know if that's how the originals were. Yeah, there's a weird kind of disconnect between when you push a button and when the on-screen action happens. Okay, B is pick up. Nice cheap enemies. That's very much in line with just beat 'em ups of that era. Ooh, takes quite a while to cock that shotgun and use it. Yeah, it seems like the colors are kind of muted. Yeah, it's kind of certainly a very interesting pickup animation when you're holding somebody. I mean, look at that. Yeah, the responsiveness on the controls is not hot. It might be the way the original behaved as well. Kind of hard to say, but I mean, I don't think the the tiny bit of lag there from a button press to an action on screen. I don't think that's how it was intended. I mean, this is okay. It's a very, very standard beat 'em up. Something that would have come after the after Final Fight. It seems very Final Fight inspired. You know, as opposed to like the Double Dragon era of beat 'em ups, where you know, there weren't like combinations. Here, you know, there's a lot of rapid punching, like Final, that sort of defines Final Fight. This AI is just absolutely cheap. Like, it always surrounds you on both sides, and it always pokes at you. Yeah, this feels more like a Super Nintendo game than a Mega Drive game. The colors just... There's more colors on the screen than the Mega Drive would typically be able to do, so... It seems like this is a... seems like this is like an old Super Nintendo game. But, you know... Heaven forbid that they mentioned that system. I'm sure that costs a little money to license. So saying 16-bit is just good enough. It is a mysterious 16-bit system that happens to look and sound just like a Super Nintendo. Yeah, I don't know if smooth really looks right. Oh no, this is a QUByte Classics. I mean, they never do good sound. The emulated sound for their whatever this engine is that they use is just terrible. It's like they just really do not care about the quality of the emulation at all. I just want to kind of get these titles out and hopefully make a couple bucks off it, it seems. I'm not saying emulation is easy, necessarily. But emulating the Super Nintendo is pretty well established. And there's really not much of an excuse why this is not so good. I think the quality of the game is a little suspect, too. I don't know if I would call this a classic. But again, you know, it's very much in line with the clone Final Fight games out there of this time. I'd say it doesn't look half bad. I mean, those are pretty big sprites, and you know, while there's only 3 enemies on the screen all at once, you know, they're pretty detailed. Yeah, this is not a good. This is not. I mean, hopefully somebody out there wasn't like really looking forward to playing these games again. you know, I don't recognize them, so I imagine they probably weren't released in North America. But yeah, I mean, this is certainly not a good way to try to relive these games. It's not an accurate way, at least. Alright, well, let's look at what is this other game. Legend, huh? I vaguely recall a game named Legend on Super Nintendo, 1994. I mean, the time's about right. I wonder if it's the same game. Remember that game also not being... Oh yeah, this is the same game. I remember this game not being so hot. It's real funky. It's definitely like a European art style. Stage 1, the beginning of the quest. Cross the forest and find the old wizard. I thought that's an OCD wizard. The OCD wizard, damn. Yeah, this is closer to Golden Axe. Kind of a discount Golden Axe. At least they pick stuff up automatically. I don't have to hit a button to do that. Yeah, but look at him, he's strutting. Not quickly. Same problem with the AI as Iron Commando. It's just things always just stack right behind you, in front and behind you, and they just poke at you. Let's see, is there a pickup animation on this one? No? I can't grab them. I think the speed is about right. I remember this game not running particularly quick. Yeah, this sound is terrible. Even though the art is a little funky, you know, I think it's just a matter of taste whether or not you like it. It does sort of play into that very, very... I don't know what it is with games that were developed by European companies, and that darker color palette. It seemed like just such a trademark thing. Like if you have like an overabundance of dark shading in your game, it was almost always developed by a European developer. I don't know if there's just not any sunshine over there or what, but... Even something as colorful as Zool, you know, Zool 1 and 2. I mean, even that is used like some strangely darker tones of primary colors. Yeah, unfortunately, these games aren't on the Nintendo Switch Online service. I think there probably would have been better service there if, you know, QUByte would have just allowed those games to use Nintendo's emulator. I don't know why they found that this was satisfactory. Like, they're all like, you know what? Sounds good enough. You know, responsiveness, good enough. I mean, and the Switch is, you know, certainly compared to the Super Nintendo, you know, many more times as powerful, and you know, it would not break a sweat emulating a Super Nintendo. But apparently it can, depending on who you give the project to. Man, this character already moves so slow, and Stick him in a swamp where he moves slower. I'm not sure who thought this was a good idea. Maybe this is like an early Miyazaki title from FromSoft. I mean, it's not like he always worked at that company. I mean, he came by much later in FromSoft's history. Even though, you know, he's synonymous with FromSoft now. But FromSoft, you know, FromSoft developed lots of games before he came on board. I mean, it's not a poison swamp, so it can't be him, right? It's just a regular ass swamp. I don't know, you're moving through this awful slowly. Seems quite tedious. This is definitely his trademark. It's like, what part do I hit exactly? And when can I do it? With all the slamming and thrashing around. Oh boy, I mean, this was already a slow game as it was. I mean, that's my recollection of it. But to put it on this QUByte Classic engine, I don't know. We'll stop it there. This is audap. You've been watching Beat 'em Up Archives, the QUByte Classics running on Nintendo Switch. Yeah, I mean, look, these QUByte Classics, they're not good. They're not well emulated. There's not enough time and care taken into the finer details. I mean, having the sound and the controls be a little off, well, the sound being pretty well off, I don't know how this gets through their QA process. Like, I don't know how somebody can look at this and go, yeah, that's good. That's exactly as how it was or how it used to be. I mean, they could have taken these original images and put them on any other, you know, free Super Nintendo emulator and would have seen a dramatic difference. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with these. It's a real shame too, because I think, you know, Iron Commando and Legend are maybe not classics, but I think you can have fun with them. Maybe Iron Commando more than Legend, but as they are, I mean, the presentation and the options are very, very limited, and this would only be for the most diehard person who wants these games, and I can't think of that crowd being too large. But, you know, if you like what you saw and maybe have some sort of reminiscence from these games, check it out. Otherwise, I'd say it's easy enough to give a pass, or to pass on, you know, versus a purchase. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you with the next stream.